You're listening to the Swerve.
Coming through with third laser the swerve.
Yeah, man, keep it moving, man. Or there to support any way I could, man. So what I'm hearing, I like, man. Yeah, keep this strong. One.
Welcome to this first time Precap. I don't know if anybody ever used that term before, but I haven't as of yet actually coined the phrase, or trademarked the phrase. I apologize, y'all. It's been a long night. This was an amazing event overall. Before we start getting into this precap of the actual battle, I mean, live right after our first watch, we just want to say that we have my lovely wife as a guest today, Mrs. Chris. We definitely appreciate you tapping in. Not so much as a battle rap aficionado, but this stuff is rubbing off because it's always in the house, and you starting to catch on a little bit, I believe.
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Definitely catching on.
Welcome to the broadcast. I'm very excited about you being here. We just got through watching this event, and man, what an event. Well, first of all, we'll talk about how, leading up to this particular battle that we're gonna spotlight, we're gonna talk about how the 1SK, before even the 1SK, just the environment in the building seemed like great energy. It seemed like it was a great event. The crowd was the first, I believe, large crowd that we've had in battle rap in a while, and I think that it gave a great energy as opposed to seeing small room battles and stuff like that all the time. How did you feel?
Well, that was the first recent large room battle I've seen.
Right,
Live.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, how
Yeah,
do you feel? Because we've been watching the other caffeine battles and other small room battles. ARP and RBE have done some events, and they've also done what was it, the quarantine, where they sent the videos in and stuff. Shout out to Head Ice, man. When we talk about the quarantines, always want to shout out Head Ice and 40 Cal. He made a mark over there too. Shout out to them. Overall, though, being the first, large room event, I love the energy in there. I love the energy. There was a little bit of anticipation, if you would, from the face off. Like, people had it in the back of their minds that something might happen. So it created a certain type of nostalgia. And the people coming in largely seemed like going in, a lot of people was, not, I don't want to say rooting for, but I want to say we're predicting that Hitman would win this battle. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I was one of them. I just felt like Cass could get one round. You know what I mean? Overall, looking at the card itself, I was definitely excited from looking at the card from day one. We had Big K versus Serious Jones. All of the real battle rap fans understand what has happened. That he was substituted. Serious Jones was substituted with Big K with very short notice. I believe 5 to 7 days or something like that. So Clone was put into Serious Jones' place. Big K had to write in that short amount of time. Clone had to write in that short amount of time, but they were added to the card, and I was pretty much excited after seeing Clone's last showing with the Punchline PC, Punchline champion. Oh, shout out to PC from that last event too at Bullpen, man. A line of the freaking opening line, first bar, I felt like it was. I know I'm getting off track here. Again, forgive me. I'm a little bit tipsy here. It was a great event. Punchline champ led out. PC led out against Clone by saying, "Punches back like I'm trying to break his spine." I love that line. That
Yes,
line
you
was
do.
crazy. I love that line. That was a great shout out to PC, man, and shout out to Clone. I feel like Clone won that battle and had a great performance out there. So him versus Big K was kind of last minute and surprising, but I felt like it was a great addition to the card. I didn't like the residue behind the Serious Jones not being there or whatever, but I was really looking forward to that battle. Serious Jones and Big K was a great battle on this card. So the lead up was amazing. Okay, now we get to Show Off versus Rosenberg Raw. When I looked at this card, I was definitely excited to see this matchup. I felt that Show Off was way too lyrical for Rosenberg Raw and my predictions, and looking forward to this beforehand.
Okay.
Beforehand. I'm just talking about looking at the card. Like, I want to lead up into the rest of the stuff. Okay? Ill Will versus A Ward. We definitely, everybody looked at this and said this is a candidate for Battle of the Year. It was a great battle on paper, and how it turned out onto the card. We'll get to an actual recap of that. I don't believe we're going to do a pre-cap for that. I think we're going to do a recap for that. We'll see what happens, though, because we do have a lot of stuff that we're going to do here tonight. I'm a little bit tipsy, too, so I might not get through all of that stuff. All right. O-Red versus Jag. I was very excited at this battle because of Jag's previous performances. He had strong outings every time. I felt like he really didn't have anything for O-Red lyrically. So I just thought that he might bring in some antics or some other stuff like that to kind of even it out, because Jag sounded very confident before the battle. It seems like he definitely had a strategy. I don't know if that was what do you call it?
Premeditated?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was premeditated or not, but overall, it seemed that there was a strategy there. Then we get to Cassidy versus Hitman. If you didn't like this matchup beforehand, I loved it from the announcement. If you didn't like it beforehand, once you saw the face-off, you was definitely up for this battle. Is that fair to say?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely,
after the
yeah.
face-off, you was interested, right? You wanted to see it.
I was interested.
It made you want to
but-
purchase the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, after.
So we actually purchased
face-off?
the pay-per-view
For
for the first time. And let's just put that out there. And we did say that she's not a heavy battle rap fan. Maybe in the past year or two, she's kind of picked up a little bit more. So with that being said, we'll get into a little bit of it, starting with the 1SKs. Do you remember anything about the 1SKs at all?
No.
Okay. There was a guy that was, I think his name was Reed or Jay Breed or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but he kind of stood out in the 1SKs. And shout out to him. If I didn't get your name right, I apologize. But I did want to mention Super Black. Super Black, definitely a legend in battle rap, regardless to what anybody says. He got some well-written rounds to that you can refer to back in the Spit That Heat days and some of those smaller leagues that people might not necessarily remember, but definitely was a great contribution to where battle rap is today. So overall, disappointed. I was very disappointed in Super Black and his performance. I don't know if they had everything right by the time the main card battlers came on, but it definitely. I don't know if it was the sound. I don't know if it was the ambiance. I don't know if it was people still getting into the building, but it just didn't feel like a battle even. I don't even know how to describe it. All in all, I was looking forward to Super Black's performance, and I was definitely underwhelmed, disappointed even. But shout out to Super Black. I hope that you continue to get on these cards, and I hope that you get a better position in the card so that people can see what you're really capable of, because this is in no way is an exemplification of who Super Black is.
I mean, do you feel like it wasn't orchestrated very well in the beginning? It didn't seem like they had the floor like the main card.
Right.
It was
The
just like a lot of
1SKs
yelling and a
definitely
lot of
didn't seem like, it seemed like the
unorganization.
crowd was unruly and raucous a little bit, and it didn't even seem like the sound was right for
Correct.
those battles. So I would like to factor those things in. It seemed like they treated it like it was a 1SK battle. I apologize. Give me 1 second. It's all right. You can. I mean, it's good. Say what you mean.
But you're
and mean what
saying
you
like
say.
this is someone that's pretty
Super. He deserved more
well
respect than
known.
that. I wouldn't even say so much as well known, because if you're a fan of the culture, then you'll know who Super Black is.
Correct.
But for these people who are just battle rap fans and fly by night or bandwagon jumpers, I don't expect them to have any idea
Or
who
new.
Super Black is. That's what I mean. New. I made it sound really disrespectful.
You
right?
did.
I apologize. That's not what that wasn't my
I'll give
intention.
you a pass on that one.
All right, that wasn't my intention,
Battle
love.
rap
Not at all.
guru over here.
Not at all. But overall, just looking at it, yeah, those factors that you pointed out are valid points. You know, it didn't seem like they put enough into those battles to give not the same effort, definitely, that they put into these names that are on the card.
Right.
So I don't think that was intentional, but I think it's also strategic in making sure that you got everything set up right. Like, these are kind of like the sound test guys.
Okay.
That's kind of what it felt like. That
Yeah,
I felt like it could have been strategic like that. You know, these are the sound check guys. These are guys that we're gonna let perform while people are filing into the building still, while everybody's getting settled into their positions and their spots, and you know, while everybody's getting comfortable and getting ready for the main card.
Right.
I feel like that's the attention that they gave them. All right. With that being said, shout out to those guys and warming the crowd up and stuff like that. At this point, how did you feel about the crowd?
Crowd was kind of. I felt like that was orchestrated too.
What do you mean?
A lot of the oohs and ahs. It's just
No. I mean, from the beginning of the event, before we get to the spotlight battle that we're going to discuss. I mean, as far as like just the temperature of the crowd from the one SK, the one SKs to the Super Black battle. I think those were both one SKs. So let's just say one SKs. Okay, so from the one SKs, like you said, you could hear them kind of talking through the battle. You could hear them kind of, you know, reacting while the battlers were rapping.
I like the energy. I really like the energy.
Okay, because Jay Bree definitely got a lot of a good crowd reaction. I apologize to the battler that battled Super Black. I don't even remember your name. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to stand on what I stand on, but I will give you my apologies for that. Now, let's move forward with a light precap. The first battle to where this card starts to kind of heat up, because it felt a little dead at this point. I thought that ARP and RBE, I was like, boy, this ain't looking too good right now. Now I'm up for the Show Off versus Rosenberg battle.
Yes.
You was up for that too?
Yes.
No, I think you just rubbing it in a little bit too much. But overall, Show Off didn't show up.
Right, not
Bottom
a Show
line,
Off fan.
Show Off didn't show up.
Correct.
Like I mean, I'm a Show Off fan. I know that he's bar heavy and he gets way more intricate than that. I think that he tried to dumb it down for the large crowd, and I think that was a mistake. You know, I think that was a mistake. He tried to perform more and get more reaction and things of that nature. I think it was a mistake. I think that you gotta be there for what you came there for. You know, people came to see you and they had an expectation of you based on your prior work. So you might want to try some new things, but you don't want to overcompensate. And I feel that that's what he did in his writing and his performance and stuff like that, as well as the more than likely he probably counted Rosenberg out just like I did. You know, he probably said this is a walk in the park, and he got out there and Rosenberg World came to work. Shout out to Rosenberg World. The fact that Show Off went first didn't help at all. You know, I believe Show Off went first. Did he?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm a little bit tipsy. That was a long time ago. But okay, yeah, we'll definitely do a recap on that battle. Rosenberg Raw, I felt like he took that 3-0. The next battle, I can't even get to the next battle because I felt underwhelmed at this point too. I felt like it was a landslide. It was a body. I felt like, oh man, this card is going down. We've 3 battles in, including the one SKs, and this is not that exciting. How did you feel?
That's exactly how I felt in the beginning.
Right
Up to
after
this-
the Rosenberg Raw and Show Off battle, or did you feel like it picked up a little bit
It
at
picks
that
up
point?
a little bit.
Yeah, I could say that.
A little
it picked
bit.
up a little bit, but it didn't feel like, we was into the event yet.
Right.
Like it didn't feel like we were actually
Right.
getting into the event yet. So we'll go into the next battle. The next battle, man, oh man, did we turn up? Did we turn up?
Yes.
It was a turn up. Shout out to RBE, man. Shout out to RBE, man. Ill Will versus A-Ward. The energy in the building was amazing. Like, it was an experience. When I heard the first rounds, I don't even think I was all the way through A-Ward's round. I said, this is an instant classic. Classic. If there's a standard for classics, if you I'm like, this is instantly a classic. A-Ward and Ill Will, one of the best back and forth battles. I'm not gonna say of the night. I want to say in the history of battle rap, this is a great battle. There's so much stuff that was in there. I may be overly excited. I'm still a little bit tipsy. I didn't get to watch it for a second time live with the energy, and I don't want to say live because we ordered it from home, but this is live reactions. Like, we just finished watching it. So definitely want to shout out to Ill Will and A-Ward, man. Great performances. This made everything worth it. I said, yes, RBE got one now. I don't know what's going to happen after this, but, I don't think nobody can match this level of intensity or whatever. I missed the third round completely and totally. I might have caught snippets and bits, but when we move forward, it was a great battle. I couldn't call it after the battle was over because I missed a large portion of it. How did you feel?
This was the first battle I've seen, like we discussed, since I started watching it, that I was actually excited. And the going back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
I was excited about it.
But you be up for these horsemen anyway, ever since
Oh,
Loso and
whatever.
stuff like that. Like, I got to mention this, though. It Will had a little part with the Losos and faggot. Was I supposed to say that? I don't know.
No.
I apologize. But overall,
Just
he had a
because
little
I'm
part in
Loso
that, and he
fan,
went in there.
Don't hate. Don't
No,
hate.
I mean, with all due respect, I like what they do, but I'm not hating on Loso.
A-Ward showed up regardless.
All right,
He
but
showed up.
wouldn't that would that inspire you to watch A-Ward a little bit more? Is what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
because of his
Absolutely.
affiliation with Loso.
No.
No?
No.
I know the battle would inspire you to watch
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Have you ever watched the A-Ward battle before that?
I think one.
Yeah, I think you
One.
might have caught one, and I might have explained to you exactly that they were in
Yes,
cahoots
it's
or
the four
whatever.
of them and
Yeah, so you didn't know that. They got Oops now, so it's 5 of them, but their
Okay.
name is the Four Horsemen. Okay. So you definitely love this battle. Can you call it? Because you watched the battle in its entirety.
that third round was kind of shaky for me.
You feel like it's up to the third round? You feel like it
Yes.
was 1-1 going into the third?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and if you had to pick a winner, who do you pick?
I would give it to A-Ward.
Okay,
I would give
okay.
it to him.
Salute
He cleaned
to
up
that.
the third.
Salute to that. Salute to RBE again. Definitely great battle. Classic battle. That battle will last forever. All right, we move forward. The crowd was great for that battle. I'm almost in its entirety. I don't remember hearing a boo. Again, I didn't see the whole battle, but I don't remember hearing a boo.
No.
Was there any boos in there?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so now we can kind of dispel the idea that the crowd was just a raucous crowd. Like, some of you guys just didn't perform the way you were supposed to perform out there. I know it's going to be a narrative that the boo crowd was out and that Atlanta is not a great place because of their crowds and stuff like that. But when you perform and you put on, these crowds are going to react to your performances, people. Do you believe?
Stop it. Don't ever do that
How did
again
you
on
feel
air.
about the Do You Believe like all night
Don't
with
ever do
ARP
that
is a
again
little
on air.
weird. All right, you don't
You're
have
my
to comment.
husband. Don't ever do that again on air.
All right, I apologize. All right, let's move forward then. Okay. Red versus Jag.
Boo.
The crowd was definitely in this battle. I mean, they booed a lot. I think rightfully so. I don't think that there was anything amazing in this battle. I think the first round I was expecting more from Red as far as bar wise and stuff like that. Jag had his normal aggression. I believe he came out with some bars, but it wasn't nothing that was really crazy. We'll get more in depth in our recap. We're just giving kind of a pre-cap here. You know what I mean? I know that term hasn't been coined yet, and I haven't trademarked it as of yet. But okay, we're into the pre-cap, and I'm watching Red and Jag, and Red loses his voice, and when he loses his voice, it kind of gave Jag more confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Not that don't have anything to do with what he wrote, because what he wrote already was written. But he seemed to get more comfortable.
He amped up.
You know, once Red was, well, I won't even say amped up, because Jag is on 10 all the time. I believe he took it down a notch and got a little bit more settled, if you will. You know, with getting into the real talk and what's your life like, or however that thing go. If it wasn't what your life like, it was of the same sentiment, people. So we get into this battle, and I called it. I had Jag winning this battle, 2-1, possibly 3-0. Wasn't a great battle. All fights ain't clean, and all fights ain't one. I had Jag winning this battle. I was excited for this battle. I was disappointed with Red losing his voice. Now we get back to the factor of, was this premeditated? Did Jag yell the whole freaking face off just so that Red could stress his voice? Did he yell at him on all of the interviews and, you know, stuff leading up to it just so Red could stress his voice? If so, it was an amazing strategy. I just want to add that with that, his voice going out, I'm still listening to bars. He got through all of his rounds. I commend him for that. I gave him points for that. But I actually listened to the bars, and I didn't feel like anything was there. Some people feel like the way you say it, your cadence and your delivery, it definitely makes the bars more impactful for these type of things. In the building, pre-caps, stuff like that. But when we get into breakdowns of the battle, we have to get into lyrical content. So how you said it, whether the fans cheered or not, that really has nothing to do with if you win or lose a battle. If you win the battle, it's because you wrote better than the other person. Let's keep it real. TRBC, in case you don't know, that's the real battle rap community. Or the real battle rap community, like, this is what we come to battles for. We come to battles to hear these people battle in a war of words. It's fine that you could do cartwheels and backflips and juggle and stuff like that. That's very entertaining. I don't want to take away from the entertainment factor, but they have no decisive impact on the battle. I mean, if the battles are very close, then I'll take all of that stuff into consideration. You know, whether the crowd was cheering or whether you got booed or so on and so forth, yeah, then we can consider those things. But when I'm figuring out who's winning a battle, I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, the crowd cheered more times for these bars. No, because half of the time the crowd is just cheering because they're entertained. That doesn't mean that anything went into the way that you wrote that bar. I wanted to put emphasis on it, but I'm not going to stretch it. So I'm not going to stress it. Overall, Red, I feel like you should have wrote a lot better. I don't feel like you wrote better than Jag. It may be better, but it's not that far apart. I feel like Jag had a lot of pockets that were better than your writing. With that being said, the grand finale. After this battle, I apologize. Did you want to comment? I didn't get you to comment on that. Let me take it back a second. Let me take it down on speed. I've been drinking. Relax. Long night. Okay. Did you want to comment? Like, who did you feel won that battle? How did you feel about Red losing his voice? Do you feel like that's a factor? How do you feel about crowds being a factor in the decision making of who won a battle? All of those things, or any of those things that you would like to comment?
Well, I'm gonna be honest here. I put the phone down on them. They were not first bar, not something I want to continue on watching.
Wow. I mean, first
Nothing
bar
hit
for
for me.
both of them, or you mean like
Just nothing hit. Nothing was intriguing to say, oh, I want to keep watching. Whole battle.
I mean, did you pick the phone back up at times to see what was going on, or you just heard the first line and was like, yeah, I'll wait for the main event?
Right. I was waiting.
Okay. So let me ask you another question. With that being said, do you feel like the length of the event, like you needed a break at that time, or you feel like I needed a break and this is the time to take it?
Okay.
Like I'm asking.
For me, because we pay so much attention to the face-offs, I feel like you should keep that same energy going into the battle.
Okay.
I felt like Red was kind of like, I felt like you gave us this energy during your face-off, but then when it's time to show up, it's like, what? That is not what I was anticipating. Literally,
Okay.
It was an anticipation that fell flat for me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this phone down.
Then what about Jack? You didn't even get to his.
No.
You just was disappointed in Red, and you was like, yeah, this is the time to take my break.
Right. Right.
All right. With that being said, would you like to comment on the impact of crowds in battles? Do you have a personal opinion on that? Do you feel like it should matter if the crowd was cheering or not to decide who won the battle? Do you feel like the lyrics and should be the most thing? You feel like delivery and stuff like that should also factor into deciding who won the battle?
I'm learning. The answer is no, as far as the energy and the deliverance of it.
Okay.
Like breaking down the bars.
Right. Once you start breaking down the bars,
Right.
that's your opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm learning.
You. I love you so much, girl.
I'm learning.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna send you an invitation to the TRBC.
Okay.
With that being said, the energy at this time is like my energy. If I want to talk about in the room, I think the crowd was kind of feeling for that break, because there was a large space in between the end of Red and Jack's battle and the beginning of Cassidy and Hitman's battle. I think it was a longer space than it should have been. I did skip past Clone versus Big K. I apologize. I'm just gonna say I watched the majority of this battle. I didn't watch it in its entirety. I watched the first and second round, and Clone picked it up in the second round. But this was a big. I don't know if he picked it up, because people think that picking it up has to do with your aggression and how intense you say the bars. Like, what you wrote is what you wrote. But he Big K in that first round, it felt like he didn't belong in the ring with Clone. It felt like Clone was like, one of the one SKs that sort of stumbled onto the stage against a greater opponent. They put the midgets against the giants. Like, I don't know. That's what it felt like in that first round. And starting to hear Clone's second round, I felt like he was overcompensating. I felt like he was doing too much in the way of energy and stuff like that, as opposed to putting that energy into certain parts, like making it fluctuate, which would have given the bars a greater delivery and stuff like that for this in the room type deal. You?
So for me, a lot of the times we have conversations, you say, oh, that was a mismatch, or they shouldn't have battled. That battle didn't make, you know what I mean? Like, that didn't make sense. Like, they shouldn't have battled each other. That was the first battle I've ever seen that I'm going to say these two shouldn't have battled each other. Complete
really?
Mismatch.
You watched the whole battle? Or?
Whole battle. I'm a Big K fan.
Okay. Shout out to Big K. Shout out to Big K. Word up. So you watched the whole battle in its entirety?
Yes.
Okay. And I didn't see Big K's second. after I heard Clone second, I kind of detached from that battle.
Right.
Drinking, eating, whatever, smoking. So what happened for you in that battle? Clone versus Big K. I mean, Clone comes out in the second round. He probably had some high points in there. I wouldn't know. I didn't like the way he started off. I felt like he was overcompensating. I didn't watch it, so I don't know what Big K had. Was Big K still outclassing him in the second round? Did you feel that way?
Oh yeah.
So
sure.
Going into the third, you had a 2-0 Big K.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now the ultimate question I'm gonna ask you is: did Big K 30 Clone?
Yes.
It was a 30.
30.
A clear 30.
Clear 30.
Not a gentleman's 30.
Nope.
A dirty 30.
Absolutely.
Okay. But do you feel like Clone was whack?
I think I felt like Clone was like trying too hard. Like he just kept reaching. Like you just keep reaching and nothing was hitting.
Okay.
I feel.
Okay. Now, do you feel that we should give some consideration to the amount of time that they had to write before the battle?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
The reason why I say that is because Big K had the same amount of time that Clone had to write. So if they had more time, then Big K would have had more time and Clone would have had more time. So if Clone's material would have been better, then Big K's material would have been better as well. So I don't feel like that should be an excuse. I feel like Clone could have been better for the fans and the crowd, but I feel like there would have been still a disparity between Big K and Clone.
Right. I feel like this. It's a professional sport, so to speak.
Okay.
Anytime your card is called, you need to be ready, whether it be 5, 3, 48 hours. You need to be ready. So I don't think that preparation should, or not having enough time to prepare should be an excuse.
I got you. With that being said, I think the crowd was pretty good through this battle.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of booing.
No.
No, it wasn't a lot of raucousness, a lot of people talking through the rounds and stuff like that. I didn't feel like it was a lot of it. Even if there was a little bit of it, I didn't feel like it was a lot of it.
No, not at all.
So the crowd seemed pretty settled at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we leading into Cassidy versus Hitman. That battle was in between, if I got the order right of these battles. I might not have put them in their proper order, but for the most part, they're all in the right order. So now we get to that large break in between battles.
Yes.
And we was like, I know at one point you put the phone down and asked me, like, just let me know when they get to the stage. Like, or when they get ready to start. Even after they got to the stage, it still was like a long time before they started the battle. It seemed like a long time. I don't want to say a long time like it took an hour or something like that, but real time, it probably was a little bit 10 minutes or something like that, which was the whole thing should have probably took 10 minutes. But I'm talking about after they got on the stage, it took like maybe 10 minutes before they started rapping, seemingly. The crowd seemed to be in a good space. How'd you feel about the crowd at that time before the battle started?
The crowd was getting to be a little much.
They was getting a little bit restless, you think?
Yeah.
Waiting for the battle and stuff like that,
Something.
you think?
Yeah, something was going on.
Okay. All right. So now as we get into our precap, right? AIP has everybody on the stage. They do their sound checks. Cass does his sound check. Hitman does his sound check. ARP gets ready to introduce these battlers. Hitman is the first person that he's introducing. Battler on my left. I'm from St. Louis. You said such and such. Hitman gets directly into his round. The energy, the crowd, the reception to the energy that he transferred at that point was amazing in the building. Shout out to Hitman, man. Shout out to Hitman. Shout out to RBE. Shout out to Hitman. Shout out to RBE. He gets into his first round. And going into that first round, Hitman is cooking. Hitman is cooking. And I start to notice that he brought extra utility. He had a utility belt on. He was like Batman. Like, he brought out the remix. He brought out so much in that first round that I was like, wow, Hitman didn't come to play. Hitman did not come to play. I felt like it was overwhelming position at this part. Like I felt like Cassidy can't come back from this. Like Hitman just threw everything in the kitchen sink. Like I won't say that it's a flawless round. I'll deal with that on the second watch or on the recap. But I felt like Hitman had close to a flawless round. I felt like that first round was fire.
I agree.
I mean, with the energy from him just taking the ball and running with it, so to speak. And how he started his round out, and how he, consistently picked up the energy. A lot of it was delivery and stuff like that. I really can't get into the bars because, he was comfortable. He paced himself through the first round. A great round for Hitman. Great
You better
round
had
for
after
Hitman.
that. Face off. You had no choice. He came out fighting.
Can I move forward a little bit
Go
now
ahead.
to the Cassidy?
Yes.
Okay. There's not a lot of quotables in here, y'all. I'm still tipsy. Like, it was a long event. It was definitely entertaining, a great event. Let's not discount that. But I know I probably misquote bars and everything if I tried to recap those bars right now. So we'll save that for a Thursday on the Off World Network. Y'all pay attention. Thursdays on the Off World Network at 8 o'clock p.m. It's all over my social media. So if you go into the social media, you'll find it. We will have a recap with a couple of other people tapping in to see what their impression was and stuff like that. So also every Thursday at 8 o'clock on the Off World Network, you can find Old Man's The Swerve. Okay, with that being said, Cassidy starts his round off cooking.
He did.
First round,
Okay.
Cassidy was cooking. He had some jokes in there. His pace and his cadence and his aura was just comfortable. Which, for with that being said, I was appalled. Like I don't know. My energy was. Hitman started off. All right, Hitman gets mentioned in Cassidy's round for this purpose and this purpose only. Hitman does a veteran move when he finishes his round. He goes and leans on the monitor all the way on Cassidy's side and cuts the stage off, leaving Cassidy about 4 feet.
Yes.
Correct. He wasn't even
Yes.
social distancing. Like
Not
he
at all.
didn't even try to give Cassidy no space. It's a veteran move. He cuts the stage off, and I'm like, damn. With all of that energy, this is gonna end bad. Like Cass gonna bump into him or push him or something, and it's gonna escalate. Like I'm like, nah, man. Yo, Cass, man, tell that nigga to back up. Like I'm like, Cass, walk around this nigga. Cass was comfortable in that confined space. And it made it look worse. I'm looking at Hitman's face, and he's seeing that this is not working, and he's hearing the crowd reacting to Cassidy's bars. He's hearing Cassidy's bars. The only reason I said the crowd reacting to Cassidy's bars is because Hitman is that type of person that he judges things off of other people's reactions. He judges it off the crowd's reactions. That's not a slight to Hitman or anything. It's only an observation. But all in all, when Hitman and Cass... When Cass is rapping and Hitman is cutting off the stage, I'm not liking that type of energy. I'm thinking like this is gonna mess up the battle. Like ARP say something, like get him to back up. Cass stayed on his side the whole time. Hitman was over on his side of the stage rapping. Now he over here, he comfortable. He leaning on the monitor, and Cass is rapping and he don't have no space. Cass is backing into the people behind him, his entourage, his bodyguard, and stuff like that. It stuck out to me. It really stuck out to me. Cass was comfortable in that space. He had a couple of performance things in that little pocket. I think it added to the visual that had to go with the bars that he had. Bar heavy until the end of the round. I felt like it got a little bit light. I felt like he could have stopped a little bit more. A little bit earlier. I felt like Cass had won the round like a little over halfway through it. I kind of felt like he was beating up on Hitman by continuing to go, and then he kind of hit a dead spot that I felt like, I don't know, I might the crowd's reactions might be a little bit influential to me. I won't say that Cass was booed during that time, but it was like a lot of silence. It was a lot of no reaction during that last portion of his round. But he did way more than enough to beat Hitman in that first round, in my opinion. The structure of his rounds were way better. I felt like Hitman's setups were off. But we know Hitman to not be that great of a writer, so this was a great Hitman in the first round. But Cass's setups and transitions was just too much and overpowering for Hitman. Breaking it down from an experienced battle rappers fan perspective. I feel like Cass just did too. The way he wrote was way too intricate for Hitman. Being the fact that he added the performance, being the fact that coupled with he was confined in it, this was like a first round knockout almost to me. With Hitman being so good, I from that point on, I was amped beyond belief. This was a great battle. This was a good battle. How did you feel about it after Cassidy's round? Or during his round, his whole round? You was up for that? Or you was like, be honest, I know you don't really like Cassidy. You're a Hitman fan more so than Cassidy. But let's get a unbiased opinion, please.
Well, I can't give you an unbiased opinion. I just feel like Cassidy's just dry.
Okay.
I just feel like he's dry.
That first round did nothing for you.
Mm-mm.
So you got Hitman winning the first round.
Yes, I do.
Okay. I respect it. You was drinking too, so yeah. Okay. So we both drinking. And after Cassidy's first round, I had Cassidy clearly winning that round and probably gave him half of the second, already, because I felt like it was such a large disparity between the two. I felt like Cassidy just did too much to Hitman. First round, Cass. Oh my goodness, great round, Cassidy. I don't know, Hitman did all this shit, but he still lost that round. Cass went in, and he rapped for too long. A lot of bit of overkill. It started to get a little bit dry, but
I can't believe he got
1-0,
the nerve to
man.
bring up the face off.
1-0 in the building.
You was talking all that just to show that you hard.
Shout out to RBE again, man. Great battle, man. Great battle. I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did. Great battle, man. Going into the second round, we start to hear Hitman come out. Hitman comes out, and he starts to rap like he lost the first round, like he was behind, like his adrenaline was just up, like he was putting too much emphasis on his bars. He was accenting things that didn't hit, and I think that gave the crowd that energy to boo, because you was putting too much emphasis on certain bars. Like, you got to put that emphasis on the ones that hit. You can't put that emphasis on the bars that don't hit. You know, you're a veteran and things of that nature, so I can't tell you what to do, but I'm just telling you from a fan's perspective watching. Like, you had emphasis on everything. Everything was Hitman got into some pockets in that round. A couple of places where he did pick it up. I felt that his setups were noticeably whack. Like, they didn't even fit into his, lead ups to his punches. They couldn't be considered a lead up. The setups were whack and miscellaneous. Like, they were scatterbrained even. Like, they didn't fit. Like, it was like just sitting here talking about building a house and mentioning the ocean. Like, why talk about the ocean when you got so many things to talk about inside of this house? Like, I was not impressed with Hitman's second round. I don't want to say not completely impressed. I felt like it was a solid round, a solid Hitman round. I didn't feel like it was overpowering or underwhelming that he couldn't win the round. At the end of the round, I felt like Hitman had completed a good round, a solid round. I guess I'm retracting a little bit here. I'm a little bit woozy. All right, I felt like Hitman had a great second round after his second round was over.
Really?
How did you feel?
I wasn't feeling his second round.
Was it because of the bulls and stuff like that? Did that have an impact on you? There was stuff that I didn't like. I didn't like the bull bow like your head like line. I didn't like that at all.
He was just trying too much, almost like, damn, I might have lost this first round. Let me try and come out hitting, and you did not hit in the second. Cassidy was comfortable in the second. To me, that's when I felt like Cassidy started cooking in the second.
You felt like he started cooking in the second?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I ain't getting to that yet. But I just want to get like how I felt after Hit's second round. I felt like Hit had did enough.
I was disappointed.
I felt like Hit had did enough, but I felt like Cassidy wasn't gonna have another one of those first rounds. I felt like he blew his load in the first round. I felt like, damn, Cassidy got to go up against this now. After hearing hearing Hitman's first round, wow, that was a great opener.
Right.
And thinking that Cassidy didn't have a chance, and then Cassidy came out and faced that and still got that round. No argument. You can't argue with me. If you argue with me about that, then you biased. Like, I respect your opinion though, because you are new to this. I'm not referring to you, but I'm just talking about to the educated eye. If an educated eye says that Hitman won that first round, you're biased. You just like Hitman. That's it. The second round, I felt like Hit came out too much energy for the bars that he was saying. Like if you would have just, paced yourself and tapered it off a little bit, and then when you got to the meat of the punches that was supposed to hit, like, added that aggression and that energy, I think that would have been a lot better for Hitman. All right. You want to speak on that round a little bit more, Hitman's round?
Oh, I agree with you 100% on the second.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%.
Hitman started off cooking in the second round. Definitely was cooking. He caught a little bit of lightness in there. Got booed.
Listen, y'all.
In there, as in the first.
Need y'all to quiet down.
All together, it's crazy in here right now. Live. This is definitely a round. Let's see if Cass can keep it up in the second round. What's up with it?
Yeah, that was the immediate live reaction to it. And yes, Hitman, he came out with that high energy. Not necessarily cooking. But all right, we move to the second round for Cassidy. Cassidy starts his round out with solid bars. His energy just went with it. He's back in that confined space again. Hitman ain't giving up that angle. I don't know why he didn't give up on it after the first round, but he's still confined in the space for Cassidy. No? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
How did that look to you, though, when you think about it? How did it look to you with Cassidy rapping in that little bit of space?
I felt like Hitman put him in a corner.
Right, but did it look beneficial to Hitman for you, or did you think it backfired, or do you think
I definitely think it backfired.
Okay,
it definitely backfired on him.
Yeah, I felt that backfired too, because there was so much space behind him on the other side of the stage, and I
don't know if he felt like that putting Cass in an uncomfortable position,
he could get a leg up.
Yeah, no, it didn't work out, son. No. Literally.
Shout out to you. No, it didn't work out. And with that being said, Cass getting into his round, and I'm just listening to the setups and how he's connecting stuff and how he's putting it together, and I'm feeling like Hitman could have got that round in the building. I felt like Cass, just listening to his round, he had definitely superior pen. He didn't have as much in the way of, performance that round as he did in the first round. There was some performance parts in there. Both of them got booed in the second round. I believe Cassidy had one of the loudest reactions of the night in that round. I could be wrong. Again, I've been drinking, but overall, I left that second round feeling like it was 1-1.
Yes.
That's how I felt in the building. I felt 1-1 in the building. I felt Cassidy got the first clearly, and Hitman got the second by an edge, which was a loss for me. I felt like Hitman lost the battle after the second round because I feel like he edged Cassidy in the building in that round, and you shouldn't be edging Cassidy. With the momentum from the first round and the overkill that he was doing carrying into the second round, I feel like this was definitely Cassidy's battle to lose. Like, I felt like he had won already. What about you? I know you said 1-1, but you had it for different reasons because you gave Hitman the first round
Yes, I did.
and Cassidy the second round.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Beginning of round 3, we looking at 1-1. Beginning of round 3, we going into round 3, 1-1. They both was light in the second round, but I think if anything, I might could edge it to Hitman, even though Cass had better bars. So I don't know. I really got to watch that second round again. But in the building right now, I'm calling it 1-1. Right now, live watch, I'm calling it 1-1. Not in the building, but on a live watch, 1-1 right
Since he
now.
lied, I'm gonna tell.
Yeah. With that being said, like 1-1 is how I called it in the building, man. Saying that their seconds was light, I don't know. I don't know about that, but compared to their first rounds, it was definitely lighter. Now that I had a chance to let it soak in for a little while, it was definitely lighter. Definitely lighter. After I watched the whole event, had a chance to unwind and get into this pre-cap. There's the phrase again. I definitely felt that way. As we got into this third, Hitman starts out and he's responding to Cassidy's first, where he mentions something about, I believe, signing Hitman Spalding when they first met or whatever the case is. So it's kind of like a response that he had pre-written already. I think it should have been, possibly his third should have been his second. Possibly. I think it would have been better for him if his third was his second, because the way he started out this round, slow and paced, and, the bars weren't hitting, in some senses not even connecting well. It was more of a story or a talking to that took away from him actually rapping. I think it was a bad start to the third for him. I think he started off his third in a bad way. I don't feel like he was very lyrical. Again, his setups in that third round were as well as in that second and first. More identifiable in the second and the third, but the setups were weak. Like the way he connected it together, the transitions from one idea to another idea, the staying on one idea when it was just random things. And at one point, I don't know if it was a third or a second, excuse me, but he added in alligator that had just to make it rhyme. You know what I mean? Like the alligator, the line didn't have anything to do with the idea that he was coming across with. He said, I'm an alligator. And I'm like, all right, this is about to connect to something because it doesn't connect to where you was leading up from. So it's going to connect later. But then he continued the beginning thought with the punch. So the alligator line just came out of nowhere just to make it rhyme and make space. Like, you got to be more professional in that. That's lazy writing. Lazy writing is the term. Lazy writing on the part of Hitman, I felt like throughout this third round. It led up to bringing in his brother. There was some bars after that, don't get me wrong, y'all. But it led up to him bringing in his brother with these rhymes that was all right. After he finished that idea, I think he got into a pocket where he had some stuff, but the setups and lead ups were still whack. They were out of place, scatterbrained, if you will. leading up to bringing out his brother, and him and his brother, Show Out is actually acting out the raps or rapping out the raps with Hitman. It's kind of like a 2-on-2. They going back and forth. So Show Out was actually rapping in the third round. He came up to one point where he got a little extra over animated and caused a melee, and I'm like, this is bad. Not just for this battle, not just for you, Hitman, but it's bad for battle rap. Like, why is Show Out, who's not on the contract to battle, why is he passing you on the stage? Like, why does he go to the opponent's side? Like, why is he all up in Cass's face, or attempting to get all up in Cass's face? Why is he bouncing up against the bouncer, pun intended? Why is he bumping chest? Like, why are you allowing this to happen? Who okayed this? I get the idea, right, of his intensity. Cass done said some things in this battle, man. That brings me back to the second round, the stage 4. Why are you here on stage 4? You should be visiting your mother. Like, that's some personal shit. Cass talked about his mother, his father, his grandfather. Like, Show Out done seen the face off and the position that Hitman was put in and how he was made to look. Like, I see where all of that energy comes from, but this ain't the place for it, homie. This ain't the place for it. Your brother's in the battle, and you might be, part of the reason why he lost that third round. It was just a bad look. Like, you did way too much. You are never, if you are ever to come out, I know you probably not never going to hear me, but if somebody ever tells you what I said, Show Out. If you ever come out to anybody's battle again, don't show up the person who's battling. Stay on your side of the stage. Don't show up the person who's battling. It's a bad look. The person who's battling should be spotlighted, and the emphasis should be put on them. Not you.
Yes, I agree 100%. It was just bad.
You're there to have a moment, and you might have the biggest moment in that third round.
Right.
The bars were not that crazy. With that being said, even leading up to the next portion of the battle where you brought out Nick right after that, Hitman's bars leading up to Nick coming out, there was no Cash. You said, why don't Nick ever come to my battles? You asked me why Nick ever come to my battles. Well, ask him yourself. Then Nick came out and gave Cassidy a pound and a hug. So he could have literally asked him in his ear because he was that close. He could have said, yo, why you don't be coming to this nigga battle? He probably said, why did you come to this nigga battle? I don't know what he said to him, but they leaned over and had a little conversation in the middle of the crowd cheering for him. Him and Cass was talking like they was cool. I think it backfired.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I don't think that it brought the impact that Hitman intended on it bringing. For me, it didn't bring that impact.
I mean, they did it 3 times, so do you think that's what it is?
Well, no, that took away from the Show Out part.
For sure.
After all of the commotion, they had to come back and do it again, and then
he did it
came
again.
back and did it again, and then they brought Nick out. So I guess they were setting it up for Nick because of all of the melee and the confusion. Mm-hmm. If Nick was on stage when all that pushing and shoving was going on, I know his security got him off the stage. So them doing it 2 or 3 times more than likely had to be to get Nick back into position to execute. Mm-hmm. But it took away from it.
Definitely.
You know,
Hitman was like, I had to see my bars again. And it's like, okay, you said it again.
Yeah, it's really like
gone.
Yeah, even when you said your bars again, it wasn't that fire to be. The only thing that people was excited about was that Show Out was up there and the energy from y'all going back and forth real quick. Nobody was listening to the bars. I didn't hear anything crazy. I'm sitting here looking at Show Out and Hitman going back and forth, and I like the energy. But then Show Out took that energy and took it way too far.
Right.
He took it way too far, in my opinion. And then when you bring Nick out, it was lackadaisical. And yes, it's cheering for seeing Nick in the building. Wow, Nick Cannon, a mogul, is at a battle rap event like that. That's a emphasis, but that takes away from you and your bars. What are you gonna say? I brought Nick Cannon out. You don't bring Nick Cannon out. He decided to come. You could have asked him, but it's not like you. Anyway, all right. I don't want to say anything disrespectful because I don't mean to be disrespectful in any capacity. Overall, in this pre-cap, I felt that it was light. I felt like it wasn't enough. Like, I felt like this was an easily beatable round. I felt like Cass, as long as Cass didn't choke, he could get through this round.
I agree. Because lyrically, Hitman did not get the job done in the third.
Say that again. I believe you cut out a little bit talking to the mic.
I said lyrically,
Hitman
just didn't make it through that round.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It wasn't enough.
Even if we talk about the highlights of the round, which is Nick Cannon coming out and Show Out up there, like that don't got nothing to do with you. It don't got nothing to do with your lyrics.
Bars.
Don't got nothing to do with your bars. You know what I mean? Oh man.
Yeah,
Last round for Hitman.
Yeah.
He got show out to jump in there. Kind of caused a little bit of commotion, confusion. I ain't really like that part. He did a little bit too much. I ain't like the fact that Cass got pushed way to the back door. I know you got people that's protecting him, that's standing on the front line. But I just kind of threw me for a loop the way he got pushed to the back. Seemed like some drama was on. There was a lot of pushing in. You know, his side stayed firm. All in all, good thing ain't that bad turnout. Hitman brings out Nick Cannon in the third.
Make sure it's right.
That was tight. That was tight.
That was his high.
It could have been better though. Bars before, I think the little commotion. Show having a little bit of extra energy. I think the commotion was Show having too much energy out there. I think he had too much energy with it. He bumped Cass a little bit too hard, and the dudes jumped in between them. And yeah, he was just extra animated. Hitman wasn't even Cass face like that. But I mean, Cass ain't tripping. He touched Hitman a few times in the battle. I don't know. I mean, the people that he got there was there for what they was there for. So anyway, no drama.
All right, we ready to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no drama. Shout out to it being no drama. I didn't mention that before either. I definitely, again, I've been drinking. It's a long event, people. I'm get some rest after this. Overall, when the commotion started and, you know, Cass's bodyguard was in between him and Show Out, once he saw Show Out coming that way, he kind of stepped directly in front of Cass. So when Show Out went to kind of bump Cass and try to get up in his face, the bodyguard didn't budge at all. He didn't move at all, and Cass was behind him. And Cass started to reach around the bodyguard or whatever. It didn't seem like he was trying to get around to get the show, but he started to reach around him and stuff like that, maybe to put his hands in his face or maybe try to mush him or something or whatever. I know he was talking to Hitman. Hitman was trying to keep it cool because people in Cass's entourage started getting excited, but they held their line. They didn't move. That's the thing that I want to say. Hitman's entourage ended up coming all on the stage, like, towards Cass. They were over Hitman's half of the stage. I think that Hitman should have been penalized for that. Like, I think that ARP probably should have took something out of his pay, out of his check. Like, you got to keep your entourage in check. I think it was very professional how his side held their line. But at one point, I seen Cass kind of like disappear, and it kind of felt like he ran. Kind of felt like he's like, you know, I understand he the bag and like Cass is like a what's the word or a term that you would use? He's like a national treasure. He's a legend in the hip hop game. Like, what wouldn't it do for anybody on that stage to say I slapped the shit out of Cass or I punch Cass or I knock Cass out or something like that? Like, you immediately gonna be famous, no matter who you are. So, yes, we have to protect the investment. And I get that a little bit more now as I had a little bit of time to resonate. But, you know, a couple of minutes ago when I was watching it, I was like, damn, where the hell Cass go? Like, it seemed like he ain't want no smoke. Mm-hmm. You know, but after thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, you got to protect the bag, man. How you felt about that? You felt like, you know, what? Cass ran, or you felt like he got out of the way? I did see other people grabbing him and pulling him back, like seeing that the hands come around him, but it kind of looked, I couldn't tell. Now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight.
These people are paid to protect him.
Right.
So if I'm paying you to protect me, I expect you to do just that.
And you're not protecting me from the person that I'm battling. Like, I'm not, I wasn't no security in front of him when him and Hitman was battling.
Right.
But it's just when Show Out came across with the aggression, security stepped up, like as they should, correct?
Right.
Right. Like you said,
Right.
I'm paying you to protect me. So, with that being said,
But I don't think he wants no smoke, though.
You don't think Cass wanted no smoke? Not with Show Out?
Mm-mm.
No,
He might have tried that little feminine reach, but no, he knew. He knew he was going to be snatched by security.
I mean, of
His
course.
own
But you don't think you think Cass would have backed down from Show Out?
For sure.
If they was on the street? Or
Yeah.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
Interesting perspective.
You can't be, for example, you can't be like, I never been plucked. Nigga, you got too much security to be plucked.
I mean, in this type of environment is where the security would be. And I hear you. I get your point.
Mm-hmm.
I get your point.
Feminine
I get
reach.
your point.
You saw that. You didn't know if he was going to mush him, slap him, punt, like feminine reach.
Nah, he wasn't trying to punch him.
He was
definitely wasn't trying to punch him. Nah, he was more like just reaching around the security point in
feminine
his
reach.
hand. Reaching around pointing like this. Cass got some pretty long
I know that's
arms,
your boy.
though. Cass got some pretty long arms, though. I ain't gonna get into all the other stuff. We'll talk about all the other stuff later, because Cass is different. Aside from being my boy, it's a different aura around him than you know what I mean. That shit that Show Out was doing, like that goes to go to the youth and ignorance.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
The fact that your line is standing firm, like nobody backed up except for them snatching Cass back, because they gonna do whatever they gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, that's the mentality of the older people. Like, all of that animated and extra energy and stuff like that. Those older people, like, we ain't got too much energy for that shit.
And not even that, it's a
nigga, you
profession.
finna get hurt while you doing that. You know what I mean? While you doing all of that extra, somebody gonna poke you, shot you, whatever. We don't want to mess up the event, so we gonna hold our line or whatever. As long as you don't swing on nobody or do nothing crazy, ain't nothing crazy gonna happen. Right. So they was very professional in that aspect. So shout out to the professionalism on Cass side and stuff like that. Shout out to the ignorance on Hitman side. That's just how I feel. I feel like the energy over there was just ignorant. It was just ignorant energy. The same type of energy that Hitman brought to the face of, like, that could end up with people getting hurt and lead to events being shut down and stuff like that. Well, that type of ignorance.
Let me ask you this. So there's like no pre-production in battle rap to it being ran by production to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, as far as pulling Show Up on stage or during the act or whatever the case may be. Like,
that's
somebody
a great
allowed
question.
that.
That's a great question, but no, it's not.
That's not how it goes in battle rap?
No, there's no, like, those are surprises that even the owner, the league owner, is surprised when those things happen. Hitman is known for bringing his brother, especially in his biggest battles. Like, he's known for Show Out jumping up there and saying something, or sometimes possibly getting in somebody's face. Things like that. So you got to expect that. They spoke about it in the face-off. You know what I mean? So you got to expect that if you booking Hitman. But to the capacity of where it goes, like, it should be a line drawn. Like, yo, he can't go over there in the opponent's face. Right. Like, he could do whatever he want to do on your side of the stage. You're permitted to go over there. Right. Nobody from your entourage is permitted to cross this certain line. If they cross that certain line, this gets taken out of your check.
Right. There should be some sort of stipulations. Yeah,
somewhere. Those stipulations. And those are fair for the leagues. Those are ways for the league to get money back and also to keep these battlers in line.
Exactly.
But like you said, though, like, there should be some sort of a pre-rehearsal or something like that. If this is going to be a show, if this is what it's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, or at least a pre-rehearsal for the league to see what it is you're going to do before it happens. You know what I mean? I would think that may be something to look forward to in battle rap in the future. That's a great perspective. I never thought about that before. I think it would take away from some of the impact, and seem kind of scripted a little bit, but I think that it might be necessary. with these type of things happening in battles.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that is it might be necessary to do that in the future. Shout out to Chris, man. Great perspective, man. Great perspective. Shout out to you. Getting into Cassidy's second round, man. I ain't gonna get into much of it, except for the fact that it felt like a rebuttal in the building, with him talking about you bringing out Nick, with him talking about Hitman bringing out Nick Cannon. She didn't bring out Nick. I apologize. With him talking about Hitman bringing out Nick Cannon, I felt that it was a rebuttal-esque type bar. I felt that it was a pretty good bar. I felt that it hit in the building. I felt like it hit a little bit more than it should, probably. No, I wouldn't even say that, because based on it coming right after that, I think it hit as much as it should. I just don't think it was very lyrical. So I hope, Cass, that was a freestyle rebuttal. But it seemed a little bit written. You know what I mean? And he spoke about him bringing Nick out before the battle. So, we'll delve into that a little bit more in a recap. All in all, I got Cass clearly winning the third. I felt like he was the better battler. I feel like he was the better battler, and I felt like he was more lyrical.
I agree.
I got Cass winning the third.
I gave it to Cass too.
So all in all, at the end of this, I mean, Cass 2-1 in the building. Cass 2-1, arguably, gentleman's 30. Arguably, gentleman's 30. Arguably, because I felt like Hit edged the second. You felt like Cass won the second.
Yes.
Did you feel like it was close? You feel like Cass won the second clearly?
Yes.
Okay, well, when we get into the recap, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Can we call on you for the recap as well?
If you want to. I'd definitely love to sit in and see what y'all going to talk about.
I appreciate that. I hope you do tune in. Shout out to Chris, everybody. Yes. Much love and appreciation. Appreciate you tapping in, baby girl. Definitely want to shout out to RBE. Definitely want to shout out to RBE. Say it louder. We definitely want to shout out to RBE. Putting together a great event. I feel like it lived up to all of the hype. Man, I feel like it was a good battle with Hitman and Cassidy. There was a lot of entertainment in the battle. There was a lot of showmanship. It was some bars in there, too. It was a lot of bars in there, mostly on Cassidy's end. Definitely consistently, I felt like it was mostly on Cassidy's end.
Consistent, yes.
And the setups and leading the intricacies, or the science, as Cassidy would put it. Definitely favorite Cass. So, Hitman, good showing out there. Salute to you. Salute to both battlers. Salute to Cassidy, too. Salute to our entourage is not going into anything that didn't need to be getting into. With that being said, we are proud to partner with our newest sponsor, Be Financial. For those who look to be financially free, Be Financial can help. With all financial planning, from taxes to life insurance and retirement investing, Be Financial will always represent the people. Just text old man to 631-528-2522. That's OLMAN to 631-528-2522, and a representative will be in contact with you. Shout out to my beloved Chris, also, with all the graphics and the contributions that she contributes to our show. This is the first precap. We will be doing these in the future for all of the major battles, not whole cards, but just the major battles, like sort of live recap as we watch them, or right after the battle, with clips from the live reaction while we were watching the battle. We thank y'all for tuning in. Support the Swerve. In case y'all don't know how to support, we're going to throw it up on the screen right here as we exit out of the building, so to speak. I'm going to sober up. Y'all have a good night. Most love. Peace and blessings.